I'm not a relationship person, I cannot wait to die alone, and I date younger men casually and recreationally for sex. I want to help redefine what society thinks an older woman should look like, be like, dress like, act like, work like, date like, and like.
61-year-old can't wait to die alone and still has sex with younger guys. Welcome to Manager Highlights Daily. This woman is honest, and I think more women should be transparent about their wants and needs. I have a feeling that 20 years from now, we will have a lot more 60-plus-year-old women acting like her. So without further ado, now it's time for us to dive into this and do what we have to do. Because we men and we. We men and we.
I am actually somebody who really loves dressing up. I think one of the most appalling beliefs going around culturally is that older women should cease to dress in certain ways or should dress in certain ways. I don't give a damn whether anybody thinks I shouldn't be wearing a skirt this short, I shouldn't be baring my legs, I shouldn't be taking my clothes off on film.
You should give a damn about not making a fool out of yourself. We say respect your elders for a reason. Grandma used to be respected for being in the trenches and knowing what was good for the family. These women today don't give a shit about family. They don't want to grow up. They want to keep playing hide and seek, and she will tell on herself soon.
The patriarchy is out to control women in every way possible. And that includes policing what women put on their bodies as much as policing women's bodies in general, policing women's sexuality, policing women's reproductive rights. Unfortunately, there are a lot of women who've internalized misogyny as well. And so those, rules are perpetuated by women as much as by men, but they are fundamentally born of a male-dominated society that believes that women should be controlled in every way possible.
This is that feminist crap that she's spewing right now. In modern times, women are allowed to do whatever they want. Policing reproductive rights? Where is that birth control pill for men? The pill for women came out 60 years ago. Do you really think it's a coincidence that the pill for men is still not on the market yet? Life is not all about partying, dating, and taking selfies for Instagram. Why do you think people wear uniforms? Do you really think going to work like this is gonna have a positive impact? I know you would make it hard for some of the patients. You wanna fight crime like this? Or what about teaching like this? You will draw the wrong attention wearing clothes like this. And that's exactly what this is about. Attention.
If you look at me, I guess you'd think, there's somebody who wants to be seen, wants to be noticed, wants to be visible, and you'd be absolutely correct.
They will always tell on themselves. These women know exactly what they're doing. She is just honest about it. This is all about attention. Female nature 101.
I have never ever wanted to be married. I have never wanted children. I'm not a relationship person, I cannot wait to die alone, and I date younger men casually and recreationally for sex.
This is the mentality that the majority of women have in Western society. They want the ring, they want the wedding, but they don't want to be wives. They want the baby, but they don't want the responsibilities that come with it. They don't want the attention that comes with riding the hot dog carousel to stop. She has no problems dying alone. However, she does not want to die lonely. This is why you keep dressing like a clown and act the fool because you want to be seen.
I still occasionally get one of two responses to the fact that I'm not married and I don't have kids. One response is, oh, the poor dear thing. She never found anybody who wanted to marry her. Then the second response is, oh my God, a woman doesn't want kids. How unnatural, a freak of nature. I would just love so many more people to take a long, hard look at themselves and go, what would really make me happy? Let me strip out of my mindset around these things everything my parents are saying to me, everything my friends are all doing at the same time, everything that society and popular culture tells me I should want, What do I really want? What would really make me happy?
In that regard, she's right. She has to do what makes her happy, and it's easier said than done. But as long as she takes responsibility for her actions, more power to her. The manosphere is growing because the majority of women will not take responsibility for their actions. They will find a way to blame it all on men. Like I've said before, life is not just about partying. There are essential things that need to be done to keep this society going. And women were thinking that men were going to a party from 9 to 5, 6 days a week. Women entered the workforce and their happiness has been declining ever since.
I've had two, relatively long-term relationships in my life. One when I was in my early 40s for 2.5 years. When I ended it, I went, never want to do that again. There was imbalance in our different life stages and our different incomes. I'm just happier, living my life the way I want to, as opposed to having to factor in a whole bunch of considerations around how somebody else's life is going. I am so happy that every boyfriend I ever had at Oxford dumped me. Okay, hallelujah, because I thought I was in love. And had they asked me to marry them, I would have happily done so, and I would have knowingly and willingly ruined my life.
They will always tell on themselves, guys. Different income levels. She made more money than the guy she was dating, and because of that, she felt superior to them, most likely making her a pain to deal with. She still wanted to get married, but she also loved the attention of other men, and that's the dilemma that modern women have. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They are selfish. She would take the good times, but when the storm comes, she's out. That money that she's making is not to take care of you.
Women are sold the concept of love as self-sacrifice. Yep, it's going to be hard, but if you love him enough, you'll make it through. And by the way, I'm speaking heteronormatively deliberately because this is where we are all sold a bill of goods when it comes to love. It's not true that sex sells. It is absolutely true that love sells.
Don't get it twisted. Sex sells. Prawn is a multi-billion-dollar business, and since the pandemic, OnlyFans stock went up. Quote-unquote love benefits women the most. Quote-unquote love, as in take me on dinner dates, pay my bills, buy me gifts, keep boosting my ego with free attention and romance. Men are also sold that concept of love and self-sacrifice. Happy wife, happy life. Working themselves to death to support their families. And in modern times, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Women keep proving that they don't quote-unquote love us like that. So men are opting out. They won't bother you with protest. But it's a problem because women need attention. It is what it is.
When I was a kid, that was my assumption. One day I would have children because it's what you do. My mother is Chinese. Obviously, separate to the fact that that's what women are expected to do, especially in Asia, marriage and kids is what it's all about. I regularly give thanks to the Lord I never had children. And by the way, I adore children. I have 3 nieces, 3 nephews, 4 goddaughters, a godson. I adore them all. I love spending time with them. I love babies. I love hanging out with kids. People go into having children in oiled grooves, zero questioning. And then, holy hell, it's a shit show. And I absolutely know that for many people, the shit show aspect is balanced out by the reward and the wonder and the love. But for a ton of people, the shit show aspect is not balanced out by any of that. And very difficult upbringings can result. There are a ton of women out there who wish they'd never had children, but dare not say so. Because this is the absolute final taboo.
This is part of the dilemma modern women have. FOMO, fear of missing out. When they have babies, the party is over, so they want to postpone it as long as possible. Drinking all kinds of feel-good Kool-Aid as a coping mechanism. 40 is the new 30. Janet Jackson had a kid at 50. If women would be honest about not having kids, what would that do to the dating market? If a woman doesn't want to have children, what's the point of marrying her? What's the point of being in a relationship with her? Women need attention, especially special attention.
As women, from the moment we're born, we are told that our entire life is a search for the one. This is deeply unfortunate because what this means is every social event you go to, will he be there? That means that you spend bloody hours glamming yourself up, worrying about how you look, what you're going to wear. You go to the event, and then at the end of the night, you trudge home going, he wasn't there, maybe he'll be at the next one. At some point in my early 30s, I just went, sod this, not looking for the one anymore. And then, oh my God, that was so surprisingly freeing. Because basically, you could just go to social events and not give a shit. I mean, honestly, the moment you decide you don't want to be in love, that just takes a whole layer of crap out of your life.
She's right about that. These Disney fairy tales really messed a lot of women up. Dreaming of marrying Prince Charming one day. We've made videos about it. Women in their 40s just can't let it go.
It's ironic that I've never wanted to get married and have children because, my parents had a fantastically loving marriage. They were married for 60 years before my father died a couple of years ago. My mother's still alive at the age of 89. I have 3 sisters whom I adore. We're lucky enough to be a very close family. Like many, many people, my parents never ever talked to us about sex. My mother being Chinese, the extent of the conversation was, girls, you stay virgin till you marry. That was it. I mean, I absolutely internalized that sort of repression. It wasn't till I, went to university, went to Oxford, that I really began dating and encountering men at scale because, Brunei was a Muslim country, so very, orthodox in that sense.
You see, she's originally from Brunei. Don't bring your foreign wife back home. She will become westernized and throw all of the values she used to have when she lived in her own country out of the window. Now she's gonna take her clothes off. The link is in the description if you want to see it, but I'll freeze it from here. Listen to what she's gonna say.
When do you feel the most beautiful?
Probably when I'm having sex. I think that's a moment when you especially revel in your own beauty. It's you naked, you being a sexual person, you being appreciated by somebody else, you appreciating yourself in the moment.
She feels the most beautiful when she's doing it. This is why women die twice. When they hit the wall, men are not looking for them like they used to. Men are not looking at them like they used to. All that attention suddenly comes to a halt. She took her clothes off and it's totally not attractive. And it's supposed to be not attractive. You're 61 years old. Retire already. Women truly need men to make them feel good, to make them feel sexy and feel special. They hate to admit it, but they will always tell on themselves.
What do you love the most about your body?
That it's kept going with virtually no health issues whatsoever for 61 years. What makes you sexually attractive and desirable is you. And your body is hot as hell because it's yours. All of that bollocks in a male lens cultural society, and by the way, my industry, advertising, contributes to this. Everything they say about what people find sexually attractive is completely wrong. You are incredibly attractive because you're you. Your body's incredibly attractive because it's yours, and you don't need to look at any ludicrous aesthetic standards set by anybody else. Live your life, don't give a shit about what your body looks like. You will absolutely find people who think you're the hottest thing out.
Manosphere, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.